Good day traders, I welcome you again to the Forexbot Trading Academy. Today we will be analyzing the pound versus the Australian dollar currency pair. And as usual, I would like to remind you that all the information in this video is for educational purpose only and should not be considered as a financial advice. And since you're already watching our videos, why don't you subscribe to our channel to support us and follow the videos that we post every single day. Right, so let's move on to the pound Australian price action. This is the 4-hour time frame. I zoomed it out so you can see the big picture, but now let's zoom it back in. First off, I have a simple uptrend trend line. We see the rejection of the trend line, which occurred on the 16th. Prior to that, price broke above the 50 simple moving average, showing some signs of strength. There was this resistance formed. You can see that the trend line has been rejected. But we had this break above this resistance, which is 1.8264. So price broke above the resistance and we already start to see higher highs and higher lows. At the same time, the 50 simple moving average has been rejected 3 consecutive times, 1, 2, and 3. On the third time, we see that the new cycle, Fibonacci cycle, has just started. This cycle I have applied to these 2 points that I have used to draw my trend line, initial points. And we are starting a new cycle right now, which should or might result in the continuation of an uptrend, because overall we can see on the daily time frame higher highs and higher lows clearly. Price broke above this resistance formed previously. There was a daily break and close above this level and above this double top. So this is a very bullish setup for the pound Australian dollar, and I think pound will be getting strong across the board. In regards to the upside potential, we have one key resistance level, which is located at 188.98, which is almost exactly corresponds to 189.00 psychological level. I have used 2 fips here. First applied to the corrective move down after breaking the moving average, and second I have applied to this overall corrective move to the downside. So we have 2 levels, 161.8 fips and 327.2 fips, almost at the same level. They just have 8 pip difference, which is very little considering this is the pound versus the Australian dollar currency pair. This target could be tested either on the 8th of December, or we might be going towards the next cycle, which is on the 1st of January. So it will either take 2 weeks or it will take entire month for this move to be accomplished, only of course in case the uptrend will take place. So for now the price looks extremely attractive for buyers, and as long as this support holds, this will remain a bullish trend. The break below this support will result in the trend, probably trend reversal to the downside, because higher highs and higher lows pattern will get invalidated. We will see a new lower low, and then it will become more bearish than bullish. So for now, there is this huge potential of 710 pips. So this is really big move for the pound Australian dollar. I will not get surprised if it will take 1 month for this target to be tested. We're done with the pound versus the Australian dollar. Now I would like to start with all the Australian dollar currency pairs and the pound related currency pairs, because this is what we have, pound versus Australian dollar, and let's see what happens on the Australian versus the dollar. I do still expect the correctional move to the downside. Pound Australian up, meaning that Australian could be potentially getting weak. So this is still valid. I do expect move to the downside for the Australian versus dollar. Still, this is only the correction, guys. Although it seems like it has been broken on a daily time frame, there was only this spike. So resistance holding, and we need to stay on the daily close below this level at 0.7344. So still valid. Australian Japanese yen, we see that lower lows and lower highs are being printed because this high hasn't been broken, and this could be the final resistance for the Australian Japanese yen. So let's continue watching what will be happening. it seems still bearish. We need to hold this resistance for that. Australian Swiss franc also bearish. This resistance holding cycle started, so yes, this is still a bearish setup for the Australian Swiss franc. Yet another bearish Australian dollar pair, but only as long as this resistance holds at 0.67 psychological level. Moving on to the pound dollar. On the pound, we had a break to the upside, daily break and close, so it got invalidated. I don't see a bearish outlook here anymore. It looks much more bullish for the time being, and for this reason I will make second analysis today for the pound, which will come up later on today, but it certainly looks bullish. There could be this heavy uptrend starting, so invalidating the pound dollar. Next, pound Swiss franc is the same. We closed above, invalidating, showing the strength of the pound, same as we had on the pound Australian dollar. Canadian Japanese yen. Clearly there was a strong corrective move to the upside. Nonetheless, this resistance holds, so lower lows and lower highs are being printed. It's still valid. We need to hold this resistance, especially the daily close has to be below. But still a downtrend. I expect a heavy move to the downside. It could be much stronger because of this strong correction. It could take out the previously made low. I think it will be a substantial drop for the Canadian Japanese yen. Dollar Canadian. Well, this is definitely valid. We see this clean rejection of one of our supports that I had previously. So yes, a valid forecast, and we have 300 pips potential from the current price. The euro versus dollar, unclear, but still ranging. We're yet to see what will be happening to this resistance. So holding tight, we'll see if this resistance will get broken or not, but so far it's just consolidation without any sort of direction on the daily time frame. The US oil clearly invalidated, price went up, and I think it might continue doing that because we had this daily close above this resistance, so at this point it would be invalidated. On the silver, we tested the support. The second support first was at 23.87, now it's 23. What it looks like that it might be going even further down because there was no clear rejection, and I think the price could be heading much lower, and this most likely will be a fast drop and then fast growth. Nonetheless, we have reached both of our downside targets, so I'm closing this chart and moving on to the Canadian Swiss franc. We did reject the resistance, few spikes were produced, nonetheless the resistance hasn't been broken, so definitely is a bearish outlook. This cycle is still looks bearish, and we might see very sharp move to the downside on this currency pair. So as we can see, to summarize, Canadian Swiss franc, Canadian Japanese yen down, dollar Canadian up, making the Canadian dollar extremely weak. Obviously, as long as the resistances and support levels hold on these currency pairs, the Canadian dollar will remain weak, and we might see this strong downside move. Australian dollar also weak, multiple pairs suggesting this weakness because the resistance rejected. Australian Japanese yen still holding as well. Australian Swiss franc also holding, and now we have pound Australian dollar, so also a very weak Australian dollar. It just unclear what will be happening on the euro dollar because price is just consolidating. So I will just invalidate this analysis, guys, because there is nothing happening. As soon as there will be the trend, we will come back to it and see what is the price action. So what we're left with, as I said, Australian dollar weakness, Canadian dollar weakness, and pound strength. This is what I see from the market at this point in time. Thank you all for watching. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, just click that like button and subscribe to our channel to support us and not to miss any of the videos we do every day. Lots of them with different content where you find a lot of new things that you can learn and improve your trading. Take care, and I will speak to you today just in a bit with the pound USD analysis.